You just do one thing, throw something to your dog, not your pet dog, he's become like you. If a dog which is free, if it is free, Brooklyn, there's still some dogs free. Free dogs are there.
They're hipster dogs, they got mustaches and…
If you throw something to him, one sniff, he knows whether to eat it or not, isn't it? How come you don't know? You're supposed to in the evolutionary thing, you have the most sensitive neurological system. If you look at the food, you must know how this food will behave within me. Based on that, you can shape the markets of tomorrow, the business people.
I think it's a very related question, but really targeted towards organized religion and something that I've struggled with. So I understand, the pursuit of freedom, justice, but oftentimes what I've struggled with in regards to religion, I grew up Catholic, I'm Catholic, is its view and limited acceptance of the LGBT community. And the fact that I am LGBTQ and trying to understand how I fit in, and oftentimes I was not accepted. It depended on, how progressive a church was, but how do you see religion playing a role in the justice, in being more tolerable, compassionate towards people from different sexualities?
A bishop went to the mental asylum, not as a patient but to give a talk. So they gathered people like this. He spoke. Nobody was listening to what he was saying, they were all busy with their own things. But there was just one guy in the front row who without batting an eyelid was listening and drinking up every word that he was talking. Nobody else, not a single person was listening except this one guy. After an hour-long speech, the moment the talk was over, that guy got up, went there, like there is a dean in the hall, there was a medical professional there. He went to him, said something to him and then left. So the bishop was very eager to know what that guy said, because nobody else was listening, he was the only guy listening. So bishop inquired with the doctor, what did that guy say? He was listening to me very keenly. So the doctor said, he just asked, why am I in and why is he out?
As a follow-up, what are your thoughts on human sexuality?
Oh, I didn't think about it, but I was born out of it, I'm a consequence.
Someone had fun.
But I think, so one thing that you've mentioned previously is that sexuality shouldn't be promoted. I think that was in one of your talks, and so I'm curious, I assumed, and again, this is my assumption, that when you mentioned that, I almost felt as though, don't publicize your gayness, or don't publicize your non-gayness, and so I'm trying to understand why you said that, like you're thinking around it.
I thought this is one aspect of life which doesn't need publicity, anyway people will go for it, doesn't need any marketing, I said. Hello? If you want to sell a drink, you have to market it. If you make a movie, you have to market it. If you write a book, you have to market it. Sexuality does not need marketing. Hello? It's been on for a million years without any marketing, all right? So I said, why are you publicizing it? Everybody will do what they have to do. What individual people do with their bodies is their business, it's not of public debate.
So, I think we're about to wrap up our questions and we're gonna open up questions to the audience. So we have the two questions. Before we get there, my favorite topic, Rohan mentioned food. You cook yourself. I believe Isha has also published a cookbook. Can you talk a little bit about food from the yogic diet perspective? Or what are things that we should be actively doing on a daily basis if I do choose to go the less sinful route one day? when it comes to food.
you?
Less sinful in terms of the gluttony that I do endure with food. What are tenets of the diet that we should be looking at? And sorry, if you have a favorite recipe to share.
Right now we're running two good restaurants and another 3, 4 okay restaurants. Because I am also a food buff, not for eating but for cooking. Don't get much time these days to spend that kind of time, but at least my daughter certifies that I'm the best cook in the world, so it can't be wrong. So, I carefully… This is a very unique type of recipe because we are families who have come from Andhra Pradesh at one time, Telugu families, who moved into Karnataka, a particular kind of region where the spice is available in its 100 different forms. So, our families have been initially martial families, later on they became business families. The men who go to war and the men who go out of the country for business, those days when there is no text and email and all this, when they go, the only way the women can get their men back is by holding by the tongue. It's the taste of the food because they've gone out, you know, they were going out to Burma, Japan, those things way back, I'm talking a couple of centuries ago. Now they have no reason to come back. Because it's not like today you hop onto a plane and back in few hours. It's months of journey, you kind of tire. What's going to bring you back? It's the taste of food. Wherever you go, this spice is just eating you up. So they always came back. So they said, we hold them by their tongues, otherwise these idiots, you can't hold them any other way. So lot of culinary expertise, enormous mastery over these things. So I picked up a little bit. With that, I prepared a kind of a set of menu for this restaurant. Today, it is rated as the second best vegetarian restaurant in Asia. So if you happen to be in Chennai or Hyderabad, you must go and eat there. So, why I'm saying this is, see how to extract pleasure out of this planet. In this, cooking is an important part. Enormous pleasure of how to extract things out of this planet which causes enormous pleasure. When you don't know anything else, the simple way is to numb all your senses, you just get smoked up. One weed will do. But to prepare this meal, you have to go out into the garden or the jungle and pick specific things for different things. This was like a normal thing, you know. They'll go out into the fields picking that specific thing for today's cooking. So this kind of care was there. Today, that kind of care is difficult because we just on the run, everything is on the fly. So that is not much done, but still it's hugely appreciated the moment people come in touch with it, that is there. So what kind of food? Two parts to the food. One is, after all, it's fuel for this body. So it should fit into the system well, that's important. Another thing is, it has to pass through the tongue. So we don't have to gulp it down, we want to enjoy it. Whichever way, when you're hungry, when you're really hungry, anything goes, isn't it? Hello? It's a question of survival. Let's say you've not eaten for 5 days, whatever the hell edible thing comes, it's great. But we've passed the stage, most of the people on this planet have passed the stage where survival is pretty well taken care of. Now, see, my mouth is watering because I'm thinking of my own cooking. I have not looked at your book yet. So, these are two different aspects, but the first is most fundamental and important. I will not go into the second because that's another matter. When you talk about food as fuel, food is not religion, let's understand this. Food is not a philosophy, should not become an ideology, it is just a fuel for this body. In what form and in what composition will it provide this body the best nourishment with least amount of trouble? That's the whole thing. So if you want to look at it like this, first of all, none of you are biology students, are you? No, just business. So if you look at the human system the way it is, in the animal kingdom, you can largely divide animals either as herbivores and carnivores. There are of course mixed, but largely so. If you look at the basic physical structure of these two kinds of creatures, you will see there's a fundamental difference in the way their body is constructed. Particularly the digestive system. When we say a digestive system, from the lip to the anal outlet, digestion is happening at various different levels. This is called as the alimentary canal. To start with, the way our jaws and our mouth structure is, if you look at it, you must have noticed this. If you have a dog or a cat, if you've not seen tigers or lions, all carnivorous animals have only cutting action in their jaw movement, yes? All the herbivores have cutting and grinding action. You? What do you have? Hello? You have both cutting and grinding action. Why is this so? Because there are certain enzymes in your saliva that digestion begins for you in your mouth, not in your stomach. The more the food stays in your mouth, the better your digestive process is. Now that you asked the yogic thing, in yoga, in some systems of yoga, I don't go by these things, but I want people to decide by the texture of the food, how much you do this, but there are some systems of yoga, if you don't know how to chew, they say every mouthful you must chew 24 times. That is 24 times you must do this. If you do that, at least 30 to 40% of the digestion will happen in your mouth itself, already it's been prepared. Now food is primed well in your mouth, when it goes inside, that is what the stomach is expecting, half-digested food, so that the rest of it can be done quickly. But today, most people are just gulping things down because with every food you're getting free Coke so that you can take it like a pill. You can gulp it in and gulp it in. Now, the moment you put sugar in your mouth, these enzymes will not function. If you take any carbohydrate, let's say you take any grain, let's say you take rice and keep it in your mouth, you will see within 30 to 40 seconds it'll turn sweet because it makes carbohydrates into sugar right here. But if you put sugar in your mouth, immediately that system gets reversed and that process won't happen. So with your food, you're having some sugar-loaded drink, immediately this part of the digestive system is gone, you're not using it at all. So everything is on this. So this is being overloaded. It's not just an accident that 50% of the world's antacids are consumed in United States of America. 300 million people are consuming 50% of the world's antacids. This is a statement on the food that you're eating. 100%, isn't it? It's a clear statement that obviously you're completely eating the wrong kind of food. If you look at the length of the alimentary canal, even if you look at the incisors, molars, the way the carnivorous animals and the herbivores are made, your structure is all herbivore. If you look at the length of the alimentary canal in all the carnivorous animals, it could be anywhere between 3 to 4 times the length of the body of that animal. In all the herbivores, it's 5 to 6 times the length of their body. If you look at your own alimentary canal, it is anywhere between 24 to 30 feet. This means it is 5 to 6 times the length of your body. Why this is so is, if you eat any vegetable matter, let's go little slowly, if you eat, let's say, raw meat, it will take anywhere between 70 to 74 hours for it to go through your system. If you eat cooked meat, if you cook it well and eat, you are doing rare, all right, that's a different matter. If you cook it well and eat it, then it will take anywhere between 50 to 54 to 56 hours to go through the system. If you cook the vegetables and eat it will take anywhere between 20 to 30 hours to go through the system, depending on the type of vegetable and how much fiber and other things. If you eat a raw vegetable, it will take anywhere between 12 to 15 hours to go through the system. If you eat a fruit, it will take 1.5 to 3 hours to go through the system. Any food which stays in your body for long periods of time is excessive bacteria in the system. You spend a lot of energy just to fight them down. And if it stays in the body, today there is enough medical science to tell you, in Ayurveda, in the Eastern systems of medicine, whatever problem you go with, first thing is they'll purge you, because a clean colon is a symbol of health. But the moment you're eating certain types of food, your colon can never be clean. There are issues and problems today. The amount of colon cancer, intestinal cancer is so heavy because one thing is they're eating food which is not suitable for the system, another thing is they're eating old food. When I say old food, almost anything, everything, if I walk into any store, what I see is any food you want to buy is at least a month or 2 months old. Still, in India fortunately, except in big cities, still, if we want to buy a vegetable, it must be plucked today morning. It is plucked at 6:30 in the morning, we cook at 8:30, 9, when the vegetable is still alive, we want to eat it. And it'll make a world of difference. Today people are talking about farmers' market, organic stores and works, but this is how the world lived 30, 40 years ago, before you business guys totally messed it up. So those of you who… I know all this is not possible for everybody to maintain, don't go by what I say. Don't listen to anybody when it comes to food. Just learn to listen to your body. With what kind of food is your body most comfortable with? Not your mind, not your tongue. Your body should feel very comfortable. If your body is comfortable, one thing is, it'll bring down sleep quota. If your lethargy goes down, if your sleep goes down, your agility goes up, your alertness goes up, this means the body is happy. The body is happy with the food that you're consuming. After eating the food, if you feel like this, unless you drink something caffeinated or sugar-loaded, you cannot get up and do your work. If that is the condition of the body, this is not good for you, you should not be touching that. I would say, instead of going by all kinds of prescriptions, there are simple ways that, not here, but we could teach you how to become alert to the food. If something appears on your plate, you must know whether this will go well with you or not. It's happened to me many times. I'm always with food, but I'm saying sometimes food is being laced with some poison or something. If it just comes before me, I just look at it and say, I'm not eating this is not good. Something is wrong with it, seriously. Simply because your body is capable of that. You just do one thing, throw something to your dog, not your pet dog, he's become like you. If a dog which is free, if it is free, Brooklyn, there's still some dogs free. Free dogs are there.
They're hipster dogs, they got mustaches in them.
If you throw something to him, one sniff, he knows whether to eat it or not, isn't it? How come you don't know? You're supposed to in the evolutionary thing, you have the most sensitive neurological system. If you look at the food, you must know how this food will behave within me. Based on that, you can shape the markets of tomorrow, the business people.